To break this down a little more for us, we turn to Sundeep Gokhale, an employment and labor lawyer. Sundeep, this has become very messy. The Teamsters say they have a constitutional right to protest, but can arbitration force them back to work?
Yes. So right now what we have is the Minister of Labour has asked that the Canadian Industrial Relations Board review the matter and has asked that they order the employees back to work and have all outstanding issues addressed through binding arbitration. So that's the position that the government has taken right now.
And would back to work legislation perhaps make this easier than going to arbitration?
It could, but it's largely a political decision. And right now, the government, I think, wants to rely on the expertise of the Canadian Industrial Relations Board and their ability to order people back to work as opposed to creating, drafting, and implementing legislation.
And on that note, that the government has faced a bit of criticism. Of course, the NDP yesterday saying that, they're stepping in too soon here. Your thoughts on this?
It was awfully quick. We saw what happened with the port strike last year. The government really took a hands-off approach. That said, we saw with WestJet that the government did something similar and asked that the CIRB order, binding arbitration in that matter. The parties were ultimately able to get a collective agreement. But I think the reaction has been that this happened really quick. Yesterday in terms of a lockout starting and the commentary from the Minister of Labour coming later the same day.
As an employment and labor lawyer, what do you think went wrong here? Where was the real breakdown to force all this confusion?
Well, look, I think collective bargaining can be complicated. It can be difficult to manage and navigate. The parties have exhausted lots of efforts to try and get a resolution. But I think the issue ultimately is the economy here. And when we have $1 billion that gets transported on a daily basis, nobody wants to see that, a halt to the economy. And so that's why I think we're getting such an aggressive position by the government in terms of how quickly they're trying to intervene in this labor stoppage.
An aggressive position from the government, but also now, from Teamsters saying they'll impose a strike on Monday. So perhaps will that allow things to move a little faster or really put the pressure on both sides?
I think it's going to put the pressure on both sides. I think you'll see a lot of bargaining over the weekend and in the hopes of trying to get a resolution. And we may get an order from the CIRB pretty soon in terms of what they've ultimately decided to do in terms of binding arbitration and, requiring employees to work.
Sundeep Gokhale joining us this evening. Thank you.